Welcome to the Happy Disruptors podcast. If you're a creative thinker with an unconventional approach to your industry, you just might be a happy disruptor. Join your friends at the Great Outdoors Foundation for honest conversations about tackling critical issues like conservation with an uncritical disposition. If you like to smile and get things done, this is the podcast for you.
Hello, and welcome to the Happy Disruptors podcast. I'm Katie.
And I'm Hannah Inman.
And today we are once again joined by one of our incredible board members, continuing our series, Meet the Board. Grant, so glad to have you here. Why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me here. Grant Kvalheim. I currently serve as the CEO of Athene here in West Des Moines. And I've been commuting to the Des Moines area since we acquired what was then Aviva USA, and the deal was announced in 2012, late 2012, closed in October of 2013. And in that year, I started commuting here. And after the acquisition was consummated, bought a condo here and have been here most weeks since. Mm-hmm. Love Des Moines and Iowa, and really appreciate the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to have you here. Commuting from where?
Commuting from Princeton, New Jersey.
Yeah, so glad to have you here in Des Moines on your stay. Yeah.
So the Great Outdoors Foundation, like many nonprofits, has a really diverse board with different perspectives and passions. What motivated you personally to get involved with the Great Outdoors Foundation?
Yeah, I think I first met you, Hannah, when you came to Athene and were soliciting us to support the Icon Water Trails, mm-hmm. and which we obviously did. And as you'll recall, Icon's a great project. It serves a lot of different things, restoring habitat, education, recreation, and of course, water quality. And right. You recall our conversation, we were interested in supporting and limiting our contribution to water quality. I had come to the perspective, being an outsider looking in, that there were so many great things about Des Moines and about Iowa, but I thought that water quality was something that needed additional focus. And it was really from that start and that conversation with you that I got more interested. And ultimately, Tom Mahoney, I think, was the connection that said, "Hey, Grant, would you consider joining the board?"
One of the things as we go out and talk and put together these projects and these portfolios of water quality projects that I get a lot is, why are organizations like Athene and some of our other investors willing to invest so significantly of talent and resources in water quality? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're certainly not experts in the field, but I think this perspective is we can be a catalyst. Mm-hmm. We see a lot of parts of the state, whether it's government at state level, county level, municipalities, conservation districts, certainly all being aligned, the farm community, ag in general, and sometimes resources can be, monetary resources can be a catalyst that brings it together. So that's what we see as our role.
Yeah, it's been really significant. Athene was the seed investor in the Conservation Acceleration Fund. And since then, it's the Conservation Acceleration Fund has not only grown in capacity, mm-hmm. but also in the ability to do those catalytic projects. Yeah. And certainly that seems to be, when you get some private investment, government at state, local, federal levels mm-hmm. are almost even more motivated. Not that they weren't motivated before, but they feel the support of the community. Mm-hmm.
We're really proud to have been the seed investor and amazed at how much it's grown in the relatively short period of time that the fund has been operating. So I'm sure there's more great things to come.
Certainly, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Grant, obviously you split your time and are only here in the metro for part of your week, but are there outdoor amenities that you enjoy here, or, how do you like to spend time outdoors?
I, whether it's here in Des Moines or I have a summer home in Maine and in Princeton as well, I enjoy hiking. Mm-hmm. In the summer in Maine, I also enjoy biking. Mm-hmm. But we're proud to be the sponsor of the Athene Pedestrian Bridge. Yeah. and obviously the Athene North Shore Recreation Area. So, you know, our foundation, in addition to thinking about things like sustainability, we think outdoor recreation is super important.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things as a major employer here in Des Moines is we want to do things that continue to make Des Moines a really attractive place for people to want to live and work and raise a family. And so we think about those things. And outdoor recreation, I think, is a big part of people's lives.
Yeah, certainly. The both of those projects are just incredible for varying reasons. The pedestrian bridge is honestly, it feels like a work of art with some of
It
the
really is.
sculptural elements that they
Yeah.
have, and plays such a key connector in the trail system out at Raccoon River Park, and then the North Shore. Oh my word! It's
Yeah.
One of the most universally designed parks in the entire
Yeah.
country.
You know, Tom, when he was fundraising for that, it was he said, "Hey, come on out and see what it's like." And you go to the setting and you see the condition that it was in, but you also see the drawings and see what it could be and see how accessible it could be remade into.
Yeah.
That was probably Tom's easiest sale in his life.
Understandably, yeah.
Yeah. But
So-
it's turned out really great.
Oh, yeah, it's
Well,
phenomenal.
and Easter Lake North Shore is just one of those where so many different members of the community use it, and it's such like a jewel in that part of the county. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. We also think about in the things that we support, what will offer continuing volunteer opportunities for employees at Athene, and both the pedestrian bridge and the North Shore Recreation Area have certainly offered that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, our three values are innovation, collaboration, and stewardship. Which one of these do you connect with the most, and why?
Wow. Well, I think, I'd like to think at Athene we've been an incredibly innovative and creative company. It's what's allowed us to go. We're only in our 17th year as Athene. Through the companies we've acquired, more than 125 years of operating experience. But I think Athene's gone from where it was as startup not that long ago to an industry leader by being creative and innovative in the things that we do in business. And I certainly appreciate that about the Great Outdoors Foundation. I think you have been incredibly creative in the way that you've brought people together and created partnerships and really gotten amazing things done with relatively small amounts of money. And obviously a lot more can be done if we can raise more money.
Exactly. Thank you for that.
So, Grant, I know you are incredibly involved and you encourage all of your leadership team to be involved in the community. So, what, from your perspective, is the role of a board member in advancing the mission of the nonprofit that they serve?
Yeah, I think you need to be, first of all, I think you need to be present. I think you need to be an active contributor to the board. The board has a role of governance, but also of advice and providing advice and help maybe with connections for leadership. And I think I've lost count. We have something like 45 or 50 people at Athene that now serve on nonprofit boards here in the Des Moines area.
That's amazing.
We absolutely require it of all of our senior leadership. And we just say, everybody's got things that they care about. So figure out what it is for you. Figure out what nonprofit aligns with that and get involved. And I think it's a great, I think the more that and we encourage it all the way through our company, which is why we offer volunteer time off and create opportunities and say, hey, sign up for this if that's something you care about. And we're also responsive to things that come from the grassroots, from our employees. I think the more that we do that, it really it aligns our employees with what the company's doing. If they see their values reflected in what the company's trying to get done, I think it's great for our employees, it's great for the community, it's great for the company.
Definitely.
On different nonprofit boards that I'm a part of, whether volunteering or running them, I've noticed that Athene volunteers are very dedicated, very good at what they do. Do you guys have formalized training, or is that something that just is organically built within the company?
Yeah, and we don't have formalized training on how to serve on a board. I think we do focus a lot on organizational development, and by that we mean professional improvement. We believe a lot in coaching. I still have a coach. I think growth never ends, and I think the more that we can grow people professionally, they can use that in service in the community activities that they're involved in.
Yeah. Well, with that, we do have a lot of listeners for our little sort of small podcast. What advice would you give to someone that is wanting to get involved in philanthropy or serve on a board?
Yeah, I think it starts by getting out there, right? I think if you decide what it is that's your passion, figure out what the organizations are that align with that, maybe go to some volunteer events, get on a committee, try to get on a board. I think it really starts with just being very active and deliberate in the service that you want to provide to the community.
Yeah, and I would say as someone that benefits from the board, I think that the expertise, whether it's financial or organizational or structural, is invaluable. So we always appreciate those strengths coming through.
It's no matter what part of we have people that are in marketing. They can help with the creatives, right? They're no matter what part of a day job that you have, there's a role for you. In a charitable organization.
For sure. And as, I think Sally Dix from Bravo said it best the other day. She said, nonprofit is a tax status. It's not a business plan. And as, things become more and more sophisticated within the nonprofit, our dependence on board members is really crucial. So having those great relationships and the mechanisms for people to participate is really important. So
definitely,
we appreciate Athene and how well all of their organization is and how involved they are.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball. This is not on our list of questions, but I know you'll do just fine.
She has faith in you.
So we haven't talked at all about Athene Watershed, which is our brand new water quality summit. And obviously, we've listed off a whole slate of projects that Athene has invested in from a capital standpoint, these longstanding infrastructure projects. Yeah. Why was it important to you to invest in and partner with the Great Outdoors Foundation on Watershed in particular?
Yeah, I mean, it aligns. I have some personal interest in water quality, as we've talked about. That led me to the Great Outdoors Foundation. To me, the Watershed is sort of taking the Great Outdoors Foundation's mission to the next level by getting it beyond Iowa to the region as a whole. Yeah. And, there was no doubt in my mind. The first time I heard about Watershed, I went back to Athene. I said, I think this is something that we need to sponsor. And Christy Burma and Rana Baranobis, who really run our foundation, were totally in line with that. So this was easy for us.
One thing that really stuck out to me from our conversation with the foundation board was just how engaged and excited they were about opportunities to participate in a solution, and that is just invaluable as a mission-driven organization to have folks outside of your entity who are not just willing to point out the areas where we have opportunity for improvement, but participate in the solutions as well.
Thinking back to your previous question about whether or not we have formal training for people to serve, we do in a way, because with the foundation, we've introduced a group of younger leaders into the foundation. And when I think about how massive our United Way campaign is, there's about 100 people who spend several months and a leadership team and then teams for each of the functions we have around that campaign. Wow. There's a lot of growth by and the leaders who are tri-heads of that campaign. They serve for 3 years across time, and so there's always one coming off, one coming on. That builds a lot of capacity within the organization through that effort. And I see some of those people then go on to be the board members on external organizations.
Yeah, that you said something earlier, and I want to return to it. You said it's a requirement for all of our leadership team to participate in nonprofit boards. I get the sense that even if that requirement wasn't there, that's really a part of the culture of the organization.
There were a few people that we had to prod a little bit, but I would agree.
Names.
I would agree with you in the main, but there were a couple of prods required.
Yeah. Well, Grant, anything you want to add before we jump into our final segment?
I can't think of anything.
Excellent.
You stumped me.
I will say when we went to do that meeting with the leadership board for the foundation, there were really, really great questions.
Yeah.
And I think they sort of epitomize what the watershed event is going to be about, having some of those conversations. How do you get everybody on the same page? But also shows how many people are really thinking about this, no matter what the different walks are. So we're really excited for Watershed 26, Athene Watershed 26.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. And the shared action plan coming out of that. I think that's one thing in particular. All of it, our partners, we've got around 30 different organizations engaged on our advisory and subcommittees making recommendations there. So we're just really, really thrilled for the continued partnership across the spectrum of the public and private sector. Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
All right. So we are going to move into our final segment of the podcast. Let's whiteboard it. So Grant, you've got a podcast right down here to your left, or a whiteboard. Whew, I need my coffee this morning. A whiteboard. And this is just off the cuffs. I've got a question for you and Hannah.
I don't even know what it is.
Is this like Final Jeopardy?
Yes, exactly. So go ahead and make your wager. Your response can be written or drawn. But my question to the two of you, I feel like we're feeling a shift in the general interest in water quality, right? It was sort of a niche issue, and between a multitude of circumstances, it's much more mainstream.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who still is just like, this isn't something I need to worry about? Why do you think just an everyday Iowan, everyday Midwestern person should care about water quality and conservation? And while Grant and Hannah are writing or drawing their responses, make sure to like and subscribe wherever you are listening. Registration is live for Athene Watershed 26, so make sure to go to thegreatoutdoorsfoundation.org and find out more information there. And then follow along with what we are doing. We're on all major social platforms, and you can also subscribe to our monthly newsletter where we share resources and project updates from all of our partners. All right.
I noticed we got new whiteboard markers. These are really good.
Oh, is it good?
Good. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. I do my best.
I would never attempt to draw. I can't draw to save my life.
All right. Yeah, but show us your answer.
But my answer is it impacts everyone's health.
Yeah.
That is true.
Absolutely.
I put a reflection and legacy. I feel like how we treat the earth and our environment is a reflection of where we are collectively.
Yeah.
And it is the legacy that we leave behind.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah. I love those.
Yeah. I was going to draw like a mirror reflection, but
Hannah's an excellent artist. Yes. Well, Grant, thank you again so much for joining us. Always
Pleasure.
love the conversation. Yeah. And thanks all for listening. We'll see you next time.